emotional and potentially history-making night?
Yeah, it was a great road trip. We played some of our best basketball of the current season this past weekend. Thought we came out of the gates extremely well against Grand Canyon, and that just continued. Certainly, we didn't close the game out, in fine fashion, but it was a convincing win. We played well, and then certainly was nervous going into the Bakersfield game. That can we do it again? Can we play with that same type of energy and approach against a team that was going to try to beat us up, especially on the backboards, and be real physical. And it was a physical game. There wasn't a lot of fouls called either way. Everybody was competing at a high level. The rebounding, was a war down there, and we ended up even with them on the backboards and made some shots, which we didn't do against Grand Canyon. We got our shooting touch back from three, and I think we made 13 threes out of 20 field goal makes, which is a big number in terms of a ratio. But I thought our kids took that momentum from Grand Canyon and kept playing with it in Bakersfield, and had a pretty good start to finish win there as well. And we're already looking forward to Thursday. Like you said, big senior class. In terms of number of seniors and guys that have all done some pretty special things, respectively, in their own careers. So it'll be an emotional night. It'll be an emotional day, week for all those guys, and but hopefully we'll play well for them.
Coach, you wrapped up the regular season the week before. Were you impressed how your team handled the two games following the regular season title?
We'll take this the right way, but I was happy how they played. I was never concerned about motivation. I got asked that a lot after the game, leading up to those games, and internally I'm like, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about playing well. I'm worried about getting better. It just wasn't going to happen in our program. I mean, the next game is always the Super Bowl, is how we approach it from top to bottom, and those kids have bought into that mantra, and it's helped us win a lot of games, and we're continuing to do that with this game. There's always something to play for. With the streaks that we got going on, we're certainly aware of those, and they'll end someday, but why not try to extend them as long as we can? And I'm not a believer that, a team that's on a streak needs to lose a game in order to refocus, recenter. I thought the Utah Valley game and how close it was, and we could have easily, should have, would have lost that game, was our reset button. And I talked about that in this room that Monday following that game, and even maybe a little after the game, and we were going to treat it like that way, and we did, and the kids followed suit, and we've gotten better because of it. The last three games are probably our best three games in a row we've had all year long. So impressed, I wouldn't use the word impressed. Happy. Happy that they've stayed focused and kept working and are playing better now.
You obviously like to take it that kind of game by game mentality for your team, but now that it's on the table on Thursday, how special would a perfect conference record be for this group?
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be a feather in the program's cap. For everybody that has a part in it, it'd be something that they'd always remember. I know some teams in past WAC seasons have went undefeated, but I don't think anybody has won 16 games. So just how it's worked out with the number of teams in the league, that would be the most wins in an undefeated season. And we understand that, Baptist is going to do everything in their power to disrupt it, and they don't want it to happen, and that's the way they should be. They'll have their team ready and prepared, and we'll be in for a dogfight more than likely. But if we're able to do it, it'll be great. It's there now. We're talking about it. I've said it before. I love putting pressure on our guys. I love having them feeling like they have to win, just because we're going to feel that way next week. In the sudden death type games where it's win and continue, or lose and go home. And so, it'll be a great opportunity for us to get that feeling in our guts on that game, and then certainly when the ball's tipped, that they have to win the game.
What does California Baptist do well, Coach, that's allowed them to win 21 games?
They got a good team. They've got a lot of weapons, a lot of options. You know, the kid out front, Milan, gets a lot of fanfare, deservingly so, but they got a lot of good players. The Davis kid has had an exceptional year. He's been player of the week, I think, a couple different times, if I'm not mistaken. But they just got a lot of good players, and they're big. They're physical. They got big guards. They got big size around the rim that protects it. They know who they are. You know, they're very consistent with their play. You know, their coaching staff prepares hard, they coach hard, and they're winning games for a reason. So they've certainly got all of our attention, and we got all week to prepare for them just like they do.
The senior class, obviously you've coached some of them for 3 years, some of them for 2. Just what have they meant to you? Obviously it's a lot of them, but what have they meant to you as a coach?
Yeah, you know, they've been a fun group to coach. I think the thing that stands out the most to me is how competitive they are with one another on the practice floor, but how they love and root for one another on game day. We don't have jealousy issues. Certainly, you know, it's a unique game that everybody is, you know, trying to get better individually and has bigger goals in mind after college. But, you know, for them to understand that for that to happen, they have to win and they have to play together. And I think that's what sticks out the most is just how they feel about one another, how they compete and push and prod each other, knowing it's making each other better. But then when we get ready to play, there's just a vibe in that locker room that's positive, that you know, they really root for one another. When they're not in the game, that they want the other person to do well, even if it's a position that's similar to theirs, that if knowing that if that person doesn't play well, they'll probably come out. And I just don't feel that that's the case with these guys. And that's special, especially in this day and age. It's very, very special, and I'm proud of them for that, and proud of our culture that's what it's saying right now. Hopefully that will continue for us when they leave. But we're gonna lose a big core of who this program is and who this program has been for the last 2 to 3 years because of these seniors and what they've done to this program.
Last time you guys faced Baptist, you guys had a 9-6 record entering the contest. Now you're looking to finish off a perfect season in WAC play. So what do you think has changed with this team since then?
You know, like I said before, it's been a roller coaster. There's been a lot of highs and lows. You know, we haven't lost, obviously, in quite some time, but there still has been a lot of high and lows because of the injuries. We've battled a lot of adversity, and these kids have stuck together and figured out a way to continue to win when we were shuffling people around, and we had a lot of moving parts. But I think that we've just gotten better. I mean, there's no question about it. We've gotten a lot better, you know, since that first conference game. You know, like when we go back, you know, to start watching film, preparing for the next opponent, you know, that's when you see it the most. You know, you watch our team play, you know, whomever we had played the first round, now we're getting ready to play in the second. So you use that as part of the scouting, obviously. And, you know, what sticks out to me is we're just better. We're better on most facets of the game. And that's the goal. I mean, that's the goal, to get better. And I've said it a lot that, you know, even when we were winning, that the cool thing is that we've got room for growth. And I still feel that way. We've got a lot of practices before WAC Vegas, and we're going to try to use every one of them to get better. You know, we're trending in the right direction right now in terms of our last road trip and how we played, how we defended, how we shared the ball. Certainly there's always work to do to get better, and I think these kids will continue to have that approach in our practices daily.